Well, welcome back to the In Good Company podcast. I'm your host, Mike, and I'm so grateful that you chose to just spend a little bit of time with us today. Have an incredible guest. Used to go to church with him for well over a decade. Incredible guy, loves his family, is an incredible owner of a business called OrCon Industries. No one is ready for this podcast except us. Mike Olson.
How you doing?
Doing great, man. Welcome to the dungeon.
Yeah.
This is our podcast space that we are most proud of. I mean, this is like, we're in it.
It's pretty sweet.
Yeah.
I mean, you call it a dungeon, and if this was truly a dungeon, I'd be happy.
Well,
everything they describe dungeons.
sure. Yeah. And also, thank you for wearing red. Red on red. That was user error. Didn't properly prepare you. So again, when you start a podcast, these are just some things that you gotta consider. So
It's all good. Should I button this up?
No.
Totally be a talking head.
I think you look great. Yeah. Mike, tell us, for those that don't know your story, a little bit about you. Just give us a quick little snapshot of like, where'd you grow up? Where do you live now? What do you do? All that fun stuff.
So let's see. What do you want? Like my birth date? No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Hey,
Why not?
if you want some free presents.
Yeah, it's not coming up anytime soon. But so I grew up in Churchville. Went to Churchville Chili. I graduated from Churchville Chili in 2000, which put me, if people wanted to figure out when I was born, back in the 80s.
Okay.
But early.
Yeah. I was late 80s.
That's all right.
89.
You're totally millennial.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, yeah.
I'm like right on the edge of millennial and whatever was before then.
Wow.
So, that's why I'm so odd. But anyways, I grew up in Churchville, born and raised, pretty much in the house that I live in now, actually. So my parents built a house. They moved into the house when I was 2. And it was out in the outskirts, just outside the village of Churchville, kind of heading towards Brockport. Got about 6 acres of land, surrounded by cornfields, and that's all I've ever known growing up. I loved it. It was very peaceful. Was a little difficult. I was a little jealous of my friends that lived in neighborhoods,
Sure.
Just go run around and hang out with their friends, And
Yeah, Halloween probably a tough time for you.
Yeah.
Going up to the horses, trying to get some candy.
Thankfully, my parents recognized that, and we drove away.
Oh, good.
We would go to those neighborhoods.
Excellent.
But the older I got, it was fun because we would never have trick-or-treaters. And occasionally we'd actually have some. And my parents, more so my mom, was a big M&M junkie.
Okay.
Yeah, so she would always have a stash of M&Ms to give any kids that came by, which was, in my lifetime, maybe 3.
Wow.
Yeah.
And ironically, they were all you every time.
Yeah.
You just rang your own doorbell looking for M&Ms. Wow.
Different costume every time.
That's incredible.
Yeah, so now I live in the same house. So my wife and I were fortunate enough to purchase the house for my parents. So
Love it.
yeah.
Yeah, beautiful home. Been there a few times for some content shoots and stuff. Tell us a little bit about OrCon Industries. Give us kind of just a quick snapshot history of kind of how you got involved and then what your role is now.
Okay. So OrCon Industries is essentially an industrial packaging supplier, more so of a solutions-based packaging supplier. So if someone was looking for just a corrugated box, that's not really us. We're looking at taking care of your product, keeping it safe from point A to point B from an industrial scale. So it's business to business primarily. We utilize a variety of materials to solve our customers' problems. So we're not just married to a singular material. So it could be wood, it could be corrugated, it could be polyethylene foam, polyurethane foam, metal, whatever it is. Our engineers come up with a catered solution to make sure your part gets there safe. How did I get to where I got to? I'd say it runs in my blood, right? My father started it back in 1984. And so, I was only, 2 years old, 3 years old at that time. And so I kind of grew up with it. My dad just working hard while I was going to school. And I guess where I really kind of took an inkling to it was when I was in college. I mean, I started working there when I was 15 years old, and I think the statute of limitations has expired for to come back at me working at a manufacturing site. But I worked there in my summers. It was always my summer gig, whether I was out on the production floor or in the grounds crew or maintenance, whatever it was.
Yeah,
I was doing that work, and it kind of really led me to where I was when I went to college. I was living at home, going to SUNY Brockport, just taking business classes, talking to my dad about business and what I was learning and what's it like at OrCon, that kind of stuff. And when I graduated in 2005, didn't really know where I wanted to go. My father offered me a position as an entry-level sales guy, and the rest is history. So blew it up, baby.
Yeah.
And so I just, since 2005, been working in various departments within the company. Areas that I kind of identified that I'd like to try out, not knowing. My dad kind of maybe had a behind the scenes of like, every time I would suggest, hey, think I, could try out this area of the business, his response was, yeah, I think that would help, because I would always notice potentially areas that may have been struggling a little bit and could use another resource or another fresh set of eyes to try to maybe optimize the area. And so spent time in our engineering department, learned how to essentially be an engineer. Not nearly as good as the ones that are there, but good enough to do some things. And spent some time in our estimating department, ran our wood products division for quite some time, was a operations manager for a number of years, became the general manager, and I currently am the president. And that was I think 2017, 18, when my father named me president. So I've been president since then.
And then your first real treat was COVID. Awesome. Yeah, that was great.
Yeah, right.
You're president, and then we're going to shut everything down.
Yeah.
Which actually, in your industry, maybe talk about, that maybe there was a little bit of an increase? Or?
Yeah, actually there really was.
Yeah.
I never really paid attention to the COVID thought process. When they were trying to say essential businesses, we never really even bothered because we're an essential business.
Yeah.
Like I didn't need somebody to tell me that. And what I mean is we help keep businesses moving. A number of our customers are in the medical device industry. Some of them local, and some of them in elsewhere in the country. And, obviously, given the things that were going on with COVID, the medical device industry was significantly on demand. Some of the units we package and keep safe are those that test your blood. You get your blood drawn. Some of them are x-ray equipment that we're checking the lungs. Some things were actually PPE, personal protective equipment.
Yeah.
We manufactured face shields for the University of Rochester. And so the COVID years for us, from a business standpoint, we never saw a downturn. We were fortunate enough in that situation, which was nice because we were able to obviously keep our employees employed, keep their families fed, because maybe their spouse was one of the unfortunate ones that couldn't work.
Yeah.
So the COVID years were actually decent years.
Yes.
This
is going to age us, but when you were telling this, just a quick history, and you got a chance to kind of taste and see every part of your dad's business that's now yours, it just feels like this generation that we're moving into, that hard work type of idea. Again, this is like kids these days, they just don't work hard. I'm not trying to say that. I'm just saying in general, I think
totally okay.
Okay, I wasn't, but especially for a guy that's in marketing, right? We just sit on our phones all day. But I think there is something to that, right? Of saying, hey, I'm willing to grab a broom and I'm willing to kind of stay here as late as need be. What has it been like for you, having basically seen every leg of the organization and now you oversee it? Does that allow you to lead a little bit more effectively because you're able to empathize a little bit with what those guys are going through? I'd love to just hear how that process has been for you.
Yeah, it definitely does. The neat thing about the question and maybe the answer I'm going to give is because we're a small business, we're located out in Leroy, New York. If you've ever been to Leroy, it's the birthplace of Jell-O. Yay! Did you know that?
No.
Oh wow! Yes, the birthplace of Jell-O.
Wow.
Come out to Leroy. You can see the Jell-O Museum. 5-10 minute tour. I don't know. But it's the birthplace of Jell-O. So anyways, it's a really small knit town and community. We're just on the edge of Genesee County and Monroe County. And it being a small area, a significant amount of the employees are still there and have been for 30 plus years, right? So we're a family business, not just a family of my father and I, but we genuinely care about our employees.
Yeah.
And the neat thing is a lot of them, we've all grown up together. And so there's a handful of them that are that have progressed through the production floor that I used to work at when I was 15 and are now some of my key people inside the office. And I got to work side by side with them.
Yeah.
And so that, we're going on 20 plus years that I've known them. And so from a leadership standpoint, when I get up there and talk about things of the fact that I can say, I've been in your shoes, I've done that work, a good majority of the people can say, yeah, he has, because I did it with him.
Yeah.
Right. A little bit of that has changed with obviously the current people on the production floor. I haven't spent a lot of time working with them.
Sure.
But those that are running the production floor, I did work with.
Yeah.
So they can attest to what I'm saying about how much I appreciate their efforts on the production floor and what it takes truly to do every job and what it takes to get everything done. Makes it a little bit easier and they can understand because I have picked up a broom.
Yeah.
I have nailed pallets together.
Yeah.
And so I can appreciate how hard job it actually truly is.
Yeah.
And it's my job to make it easier for them.
Yeah. The other thing I think with your story that's so interesting, and I'm sure people that are listening can attest to this, but there's this staying power that you've been able to accumulate over the years of just choosing to stay. And I think so many times when you think about a faith step, so often you think, oh man, I got the courage and I'm going to go. I'm going to go for the dream and I'm going to pursue this thing. When sometimes the most faithful thing you can do is not go, but it's to stay. And it's a very different way to look at, faithfulness, being able to say, I'm going to go to this job. I may not want to this year or next year or the year after, but a lot of times there's people that are constantly jumping ship or they're jumping relationships or they're jumping into all sorts of other things.
Yeah.
And they're just not able to have that staying power. What has that done from a fruit level for you? Again, you shared a little bit of the relational benefits and things, but for you to choose to stay even when seasons have gotten hard at OrCon, how meaningful has that been to you, to the team, for you to just continue to remain that steady face, that steady voice for the team?
It's very important for me. I kind of jokingly talk about the current generation or anything like that.
Yeah.
One of my favorite, I'll say, memes, if you will, is an old lady and her husband. How long you've been married? Oh, we've been married for 75 years. Well, man, how'd you do it? Well, we grew up in a time where if it was broke, we fixed it. We didn't replace it. We didn't, jump ship or anything like that. Times are going to get tough in relationships, in faith, in business, whatever it is. Times are going to get tough. And you grow as a person and as an organization in how you handle those times. And some of those times, is where the most growth you experience personally and professionally can happen. There's been plenty of times where I can just say, you know what, this isn't for me. I'd rather go, and basket weave,
Yeah.
whatever, something like that. But at the end of the day, you build relationships with the people that you're working with, and you trust in them and they trust in you. When you walk through fire together, it only solidifies the fact that you guys can get through whatever it takes, whatever it is. And so, the grass truly isn't greener on the other side. Maybe sometimes it is.
Yeah.
It's never been in my case.
Yep.
And so,
and the integrity of you as a leader having chosen to stay, right? When you're able to invite other people to stick through that, it's because you also have been willing to walk through that yourself, right? Which gives you that. And as you were speaking, one of the things that everybody craves, we all crave the mountaintop.
Yeah.
But fruit grows in the valley.
Sure.
It doesn't grow on the mountain, whether it's the air or the weather or whatever it is. So you can eat fruit up there.
Yeah.
But if you're trying to grow, and if you're trying to really make changes and positive momentum to continue that climb, that next leg of the journey, like you've got to have those moments. I think this fits right into one of our favorite segments here at In Good Company is fails of the week.
Uh-oh.
So it's so easy on social. We can celebrate all of our successes and our wins, and everybody sees all the, it must be nice. You own a business. Life is good. So we like to talk about fails of the week, right? This could be maybe your favorite fail story at OrCon, or, you could pick one of the many from this week if you'd like. I'm not judging you with that statement. I just assume.
Come on.
0. Yeah.
0. How bad?
So yeah, what's just a big fail, whether it's, again, lifetime or a fail this week that you just feel like would be a fun story to share?
It's got to be a fun story.
It doesn't have to be. I mean, it's clearly not going to be fun.
I know. Fails are never fun.
Yeah.
I can't really think of maybe a fail this week.
Okay, then yeah.
But I will tell you, probably my largest fail that it'll be a work fail was losing sight of the big picture. Especially with with our top account at the time. And when you get complacent, even though you may have the relationship and everything like that, when you get complacent and lose sight of the overall, I guess. Obviously bad things can happen in this situation. We lost the account, and I take that to heart. I really do, because of the relationship of what we do and what we offer our customers. If a customer decides to leave, I take it personally. Like it hurts. It's one of those. What do we do wrong, and what can I do better to make sure that doesn't happen again? And I can assure you, we've taken steps to do that. But it was, it's one of those fails that. Again, going back to work hard.
Yep.
It's a hard time, but what I learned out of it is only going to make me just that much better.
Yeah.
And it has already. Like I've already taken what I've learned and applied it to the other accounts.
Yep.
And in a way to kind of insurance policy that I don't let that happen again. Obviously, There are only certain things I can control, and how we operate is the easiest way that I can control.
Yeah. One of my big fails from this week was we usually have an internal videographer that shoots incredible video, and he wasn't available. So I was like, I got it, right? I got all the equipment. I can do this. I went to school for this. I got this. So we go to one of our favorite clients, a bunch of incredible women. They were all dressed up and ready for headshots. We got great headshots, and we were like, let's do some video. You guys are dressed up. Your hair's done. Everything's ready. So we shoot all these quick testimonial videos for social media. We're like, dude, we got like a month worth of content here. This is perfect. And take the SD card out, throw it in my computer. The audio is like, and I didn't properly plug in the mic into the little jack on the side of the
end.
So it was just, that was my fail of the week. And so I was so excited to say, hey guys, here are the headshots. You look great. One minor thing, the audio is just not going to work, but overall it was great, And so
it's just ad lib it or something.
That was this week. So that was my fail of the week, and that's why you hire people that are better at you than the things that you suck at. Just quick piece of advice. So
couldn't agree more.
Anyway, that's my fail of the week, but it is what it is. I think if you want to make a change, if you want to make an impact, you got to go through some fails.
Yeah,
like you've got to go through that, right?
Yeah.
If you want to,
have you failed as a parent?
0. I'm kidding.
Yeah. No, exactly. Like
I'm just kidding. Multiple per day.
Yeah. And it's only going to get more. You know, I've got 13, 11, and 3, right?
Shoot.
And so it's just a dichotomy of ages and what they're going through, and you fail all the time.
Yep. Talk about your family a bit. I think there's a lot of people that maybe they want to start a business or they want to really pursue something in their business life, but you hear all the time this struggle in work-life balance, trying to manage. I feel like when I'm crushing it at work, my wife's not happy at home. Or I feel like when my wife's, when we're really dialed in with date nights and everything else, now I'm struggling over here at work. How do you personally balance some of those things? And what advice might you have for someone who's either in a new marriage or they're just had their first kid or they're trying to kind of navigate this impossible journey of the work-life balance?
Good luck. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, thanks, guys.
We're good.
Yeah.
Done. No, it's an interesting when I think about family and how important it is to me, how important it is to my father and the family that I grew up with and in. My dad was growing and starting a business, and I can still remember him present very often. And if he would ever go on business trips, it was never like, where's daddy? Mom, when's he coming home? Kind of thing. He would always call. Obviously this is before we had FaceTime and all those wonderful things, which is awesome now.
Gosh, you really are old. This is crazy.
I know. But anyways, my dad put such an emphasis on family, especially when holidays came around. Like, we would travel to Pennsylvania. We would be with his brothers and his siblings and their kids. And, we're having Thanksgiving dinner with 40 people, And so I just grew up that work's important, but family's more important. But you have to have work, essentially, in order to have that family life, if that's a goal of yours, to be present. And, my dad, I don't recall in my life was ever a coach of any of my teams growing up, but he was present at almost every game that I could possibly remember.
Yep.
I was a 3-sport athlete in high school. Both my brothers were 3-sport athletes in high school. I'm the youngest of 3 boys. Maybe I should have said that in the beginning, but that's okay.
No, hey.
So, I just remember him being there. And so that's transitioned to me being a father. And in my job, right? I can't really say that when work's crushing it, home's not crushing it.
Sure.
Or when home's crushing it, work's not crushing it. They have ebbs and flows together. Sometimes when maybe things aren't going great at home, I want to bury myself at work, just because, like, that's the nature of some of us. But if you're looking to have that financial freedom or have that time freedom, time is the most valuable asset we have in our life. And it's how we choose to use it. If you're young and you don't have any kids yet or anything like that, or if you're newlywed, really think about what your goals are. What do you guys really want to accomplish as a couple in your life before you have kids, if you've decided to have kids? Because that's when you have the time. When you have the time. So if you want to build a business, you want to start a business, you want to get that foundation laid, do it when you're young, do it when you have the ability where time doesn't matter. You're free to work at 8 o'clock at night and you're having fun doing it. Because building a business, and while I didn't build this one per se, I still have a heck of a lot of fun working on it. And I have a lot of pride there, and responsibility at the same time. And so I enjoy what I'm doing. And so at 8 o'clock at night, I'm fine with that. If I put my kids to bed and I need to fire up my computer, I'm okay doing that. But it's really important to me to be present for my kids because, it's a moment in time of their life.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
We got 18 years really with them.
Yep.
So it's a snapshot in time. And the more I can be present in that snapshot, that's, just the more ground can be, the more better foundation for them and for us.
Yeah, you mentioned it. I think as men, it's very easy for us to find wins at work, or it's easier to find wins at work. So the temptation is that we can bury ourselves in work. I'm so busy with this. I got to get this out. I got to get this out. We don't just find wins, but we find identity, and we find value, and we find purpose, usually easier at work than potentially at home. And I think, in my own experience, I launched this marketing agency because I wanted to build a job around my life. I want to spend time with my kids. I want to spend time with my wife. I want to do these things. And probably 2 years into my business, I'm no longer working 9 to 5. I'm working 7 to 7. And all of a sudden, the demands of these clients, the people-pleasing side of me, and all those things start coming out. And I realized that I just built a beast that was actually worse than my 9 to 5, right?
Sure.
And you're laughing because you've experienced the same. But
Sure.
but again, if you don't have those foundational elements properly set, you're always going to be out of alignment with, again, why God has put you on this planet to do.
Sure, but I mean, for you doing what you're doing and what you're creating, yeah, you have this beast, right? 7 to 7.
Sure.
And the goal was to spend more time with your kids, and you're going to, especially their formative years.
Yeah.
Right. Your kids are still relatively young.
Yeah, 4 and 1.
And I think I heard, what was it, up until 3 or something like that? Your children really don't have memories before 3.
Perfect.
So you're totally fine with at least one of them. Right. But no, I mean, again, that's why I say that if you want to build a business, and you have that desire, do it, and do it early.
Yeah.
Because what you're building now, I guarantee you, your goal of spending time with your kids will come to fruition, because you will have built this, empire, if you will.
That's right, man.
That truly allows you at 3 o'clock in the afternoon to duck out to see your kid's soccer game.
Sure.
Well,
even what you just said, I mean, even for those that are listening that are like, oh, well, I guess I missed the boat because I got kids. My encouragement would be, you can also include them. And again, my industry is a little bit unique in this way, but we have a pediatric dentist, Zach Mills, we have an episode as well. And we wanted to shoot some content of him at work, working on a kid. And I was like, well, let me just bring my boy. And I brought my son, and he's in the car, and I'm like, buddy, we're going to work, and, we're going to go do this thing. And we actually were going to work, and he loved it. And it was, one of those experiences that he will look back on as a memory that was not anything work related. It was just, I had a great fun day with my dad. And again, for me, I'm stressed, and did I plug the microphone in, and all those other things, right? But again, it's just one of those things where a simple routine day for us could be a lifelong memory for them.
No question. It's, again, I love the internet. I love you marketing people, because you just know how to twist the heartstrings, and of course I see these little videos, whatever you guys call them, and of course it's this mother who's stay-at-home mom with her kids, and she's obviously, they're showing the mother's side, and she's ridiculously stressed out because the kid's throwing breakfast at painting on the walls, and they, there's cake mess and all this craziness, and dad comes home from work, and he's helping put the kids to bed, and he's talking to his little girl, and he's like, how did your day go? And it's the polar opposite of what mom experienced. It's Dad, Mom, we had a food fight at breakfast, and we were laughing, and, we got the color on the walls, and, then Mommy was being a fun monster with the cake, so it's exactly what you're saying. Like, our perception is not theirs.
Yeah.
Theirs can be, as you said, a memory he'll remember for the rest of his life.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
And it's super neat. So those that, even if you don't have kids your age, if you got kids in the middle of there or something,
sure,
you can figure out how to do it together. And building any business, no matter what, takes sacrifice.
Yep.
Okay. Again, I'll say it again. I didn't build mine, but it certainly takes sacrifice. If you ascend to the top of whatever organization you're at, it truly takes sacrifice. And so it's just a matter of, what does that look like, and how can you manage it? and keeping what your priorities are in line.
Yeah, it's great. And I think too, you have a unique experience, and then we'll get into some of your hobbies and things, but you have a unique experience that maybe some other people have of, what has the tension been like for you to take what your dad built and just like keep it safe, or to take what your dad built and to elevate it and to take it to another level? What has that tension been like, where it's like, I want to try new stuff, but this isn't the way that, right? Like how have you managed some of those, maybe unspoken expectations or even some burdens you put on yourself? How have you been able to manage all that?
You said we're in the dungeon here.
This is the dungeon.
Yeah. The rack, where they stretch it out. Yeah, that's that. That's the type of tension to feel. It is incredibly difficult to manage it, to accept it, to, wake up every day with it. It's my dad's baby, right? Like it's his work product. It's his life accomplishment that he's choosing to allow me to continue it on, without selling it, right? And so there's an internal tension of, I should just protect this status quo, just let's just make sure it stays alive, right? But that fear will ultimately lead to destruction.
Sure.
Right? It will. I mean, if I'm not trying to grow it, if I'm not trying to make it better than what it is, and increase its volume, it's going to die. And the tensions I have around the growing piece, obviously I have the internal fight of like the responsibility of keeping this place going. But the fun fights, internal tensions sometimes make it external, sometimes, my dad still retains CEO. So there are certain things I do need to run by him.
Sure.
Before I pull the trigger on him.
Yep.
And sometimes, our philosophies may not align. We may butt heads, we have had, president CEO fights, but they stay at that. And I know that's important for my dad because, he's always stated, he never wants this to get in the way of our relationship as father-son, or, at this point, best friend. Like, when you get old enough, if you got a relationship with your parents, they become your friends, and so he never wants it to get in the way. But that's the joy of this is we've had plenty of fights where it's, my way versus his way, and his way is a little bit older and my way is a little bit newer. And I've learned, in order to get him to see my way, I just need to present it to him in a fashion that he can justify the thought process behind it.
Yeah.
And there have been times I've been wrong. And that's when the mentor comes in and explains to me, I can see how you came up with that solution.
Yep.
What if you looked at it from this lens?
Yep.
Then that's happened. And there are also times where I need my dad to take the CEO hat off and be my dad, and I stay the president. And I need to ask him questions about business direction from a father standpoint, right?
Yeah.
Like, Dad, pretend you're not in this room.
Yeah.
Pretend it's not your business. And I need to ask you some questions about where I'm taking it, what I'm doing with, work-life balance with my kids, that kind of stuff. And that's sometimes a challenge for him, but not always.
Yeah. I can imagine that being a challenge,
but it's been a heck of a lot of fun. It truly has, like, just trying to figure out it's tough for me sometimes when someone puts a question like this at me, the different tensions, and I actually really can sit back and think about, how many of them there really are. And it's a lot, but it's fun.
Yeah.
That's all I can say.
Yeah. And there's almost this joy because of course there's a stress, but there's a joy that you get to you'd almost liken it to someone who, gives their daughter over to marriage. It's like you raised her, and all the incredible values and qualities that you taught her are now going to go to someone else to take care of, and I think that's a very similar experience that you and your dad have walked through. One of the closing thoughts that I just wanted to talk through is, as a business guy, clearly successful, faithful man, love your wife, love your family. How have you been able to find, some me time as well? What are some of those activities or things that you do that you just allows you to kind of get clarity, be a little bit level-headed? What are some of those hobbies that Mike Olson has?
Let's see. I love to golf.
No way.
I'm
just kidding. I knew you were going to say that.
I love to golf, but golf for me is both business and pleasure. It's probably not the one hobby that really I just lose it, and I don't mean lose it from the standpoint of I'm just whatever.
Yeah.
It's just I can totally check out. It's not golf. I love golf. If I could play it every day, I'd play it every day. I can check out, but I still am thinking about work. But the checkout hobbies for me are just yard work, house project.
You can come do that at my house as much as you'd like.
Yeah, probably not.
Come check out.
Yeah. It's far away. Anyways, yard work, house projects, some minor home remodeling, construction, woodworking. I love that stuff. I can really check out there. But a lot of times those are singular,
right?
Just me.
Yep.
So yeah, you're looking for me time, but sometimes me time is on the golf course if it's with my kids or if it's with my friends. That's still me time. I really enjoy that, but it's maybe dual purpose.
Yeah.
If you will.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
Yeah. If anyone needs house projects done, just call Mike Olson. It's me time for him. It's really good for your soul.
Yeah.
That's what you said. I'm just okay.
I might know somebody else that you can call for house projects.
Fair enough. Favorite segment on the In Good Company podcast is we have Q, Who Wants to Be a Millionaire Lights. Dun dun dun.
Oh boy.
We have the hot seat questions, rapid fire questions. I'm just going to rattle through, and you either got to give 1-word responses, 1 to 2 sentences, very, very quick.
Okay.
Are you ready? You a little scared?
A little bit.
Okay.
Final answer, I'm ready.
Here we go. Rapid fire hot seat questions. Mike Olson, favorite golf course you've ever played?
Wolf Creek.
Where is that?
Mesquite, Nevada.
Boof. Okay. Best business lesson that you've ever learned from your dad? Rapid fire.
Wow. Customer's always right.
Boom. Most exciting innovation in packaging right now?
I'm sorry, what most exciting innovation?
The most exciting innovation in packaging right now.
Oh, wow. Robotics.
Oh, I'm in. Favorite club in your bag?
48-degree wedge.
Wow. He picked a wedge. Unbelievable.
I got a hole-in-one with it.
What was that?
I got a hole-in-one with it.
What course?
Greystone, hole 6.
Wow. Yeah. Is that why it's your favorite club?
I mean, it definitely solidified it.
Well, yeah.
It was my favorite club even going into that, but it's made it, solidified it.
Okay. Favorite thing about working at OrCon?
Relationships, family impact.
Love it. Dream golf destination that you'd like to visit?
Augusta.
Whoa. Can you imagine?
I
think I'd cry.
Yeah. St. Andrews would probably be second.
Wow. 1 word to describe taking over a family business.
One. I think I just said 4. It literally just popped into my head.
You can say all 4.
Fun. Pressure. Difficult. I'll go with those 3 for now.
When you said fun, I thought you were going to say a different word, which made me laugh. But that's cool. Fun is great. What would you say favorite project that you ever worked on for OrCon?
It was protecting glass that was on a roll. The glass
Whoa.
was so thin, it was spooled. And they had a crate that they were experiencing probably 100% damage in the field, and we developed a crate that reduced it to virtually zero.
Wow.
Yeah.
Last one. Any plans to pass down OrCon to the boys?
Zero.
Zero plans.
Yeah, none. I mean, they'd have to show interest, you know. My dad he never had plans to pass it down to us.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
if they want it, it's not a given.
Yeah. Work hard, man.
Yeah.
I love it. Well, you were off the hot seat. Mike Olson, thank you so much for being here on the In Good Company podcast. And thank you for tuning in to In Good Company, where we believe that the best parts in business happen in good company. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Thanks, Mike.
Appreciate you, brother.